We all good? All good? How you doing, Justin? You good? All good here? Okay, excellent.
I always underestimate how long this walk's going to take from the station.
Oh, you came from the station.
Yeah. Plus train was delayed.
The Sydney Derby, always must-watch viewing, and for both these teams, this win could well be season-defining. For the Wanderers, a chance to reverse some tough losses and start cementing their spot for the finals. And for Sydney FC, 3 points today would see them climb out of the danger zone and start a real substantial climb to safety. And despite it being just family and friends allowed in attendance, this one should still have plenty of feeling into it. Plenty of former teammates going up against each other means there'll be more than enough spice. And in a local derby, there's always more than 3 points at stake. It's the NPL Sydney Derby, live on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Will Constantinides along with you for the ride this afternoon, and there's plenty of anticipation in this one. Not just a chance to look at the future stars really for both teams, but a real season-defining match, as mentioned, for different reasons, considering both these teams on opposite ends of the ladder. We'll start with the team news, getting a look at the Wanderers first. As mentioned, it's been tough going for them as of late. 3 straight losses coming into this afternoon won't have them brimming with confidence, but they have a good record in the derby, winning each of the 3 last matches they've played against Sydney FC. They'll stay in at least the top 6 for another round, but they'll want the 3 points to really secure their spot as those finals places become more and more important as we tick down towards round 30. Andrew Christensen makes the 3 changes to the side that lost to the Spirit last week. Arwan Lawal drops out of the squad entirely. Meanwhile, Marcus Fernandez and Rashan Tafunai are on the bench. In their places start Dimo, Luke Neuenhoff and Ricky Franson. As for the rest of the starting 11 for Andrew Christensen and the Wanderers, it goes like this. In goal is number 20, Lucas Sinot. Number 16, Roman Kulina. Number 22, Jesse Cameron. Number 24, Anthony Barbich. Number 25, Riley Hollingdale. Number 26, Dallo Sandy. Number 77, Philip Gigliotti. Number 99, Ryan Devine. And the 3 new inclusions are number 19, Dimo. Number 28, Luke Neuenhoff. And number 37, Ricky Franson. As the Wanderers get us underway, we'll get into Sydney FC's lineup as well. They've struck good form at a good time as we stretch into the last 10 games of the season now. Sydney FC are on a 3-game unbeaten run, picking up 7 points in that span, which has now seen them still in 15th, but only behind Sutherland on goal difference, which means even a draw will get them out of that relegation playoff spot. The draw against the Mariners last time out sees Jimmy Van Roon stick with the same 11. It's cleared away at the back by Joseph Kalisic, who starts at the back. Him and Tyler Williams anchoring it down. That's number 3, Tyler Williams. In goal behind them is number 40, Alex Zavadinos. As the Wanderers get going, we'll stay with their attack for now. Gigliotti on that far side, trying to work something out of the corner, has Kalisic for company. As for the rest of the Sydney FC starting 11, it's number 8, Lockie Middleton in midfield. Number 10, a real play to watch, is Tiago Quintal. Number 13, Jacob Brezet. Number 22, the captain, Will Kennedy. Number 24, the former Wanderer, Wataru Kamijo, who's on the ball there. Number 33 is Matthias McAllister. So Wanderers' chance forward here is Gigliotti couldn't make it work out of the corner. The Wanderers need to strike in the early stages of this game, and the last 2, the starting 11 is number 34, Blake Bolwell. That's for Sydney FC, and he's at right back. So a fast start early here for the Wanderers. Despite Wanderers' dip in form, they'll be considered slight favourites. Neuenhoff went up for it in midfield, comes down with Sydney FC instead as it's tucked forward. There is Neuenhoff spraying that ball out wide. Checking in short, they were looking for Franson. All the way back to the keeper. Wanderers happy to play out from the back. There's Riley Hollingdale. There's the captain's armband this afternoon, the midfielder. Dimo plays it for Gigliotti. This is a good chance here for the Wanderers. Floated ball to the back post, but the flag is up in any case. As Jesse Cameron arriving late at the back stick, but Wanderers doing a good job there, building out from the back. They played well under pressure. Sinot dropped it short to Riley Hollingdale, who was checking in deep, and from there they were able to work it around this left side. Wanderers playing with this back 5 with Ryan Devine and Jesse Cameron, the 2 wing backs, so look for them bombing on. So now it's Sydney FC's chance to go forward. That one didn't fall kindly for Matthias McAllister. Foul given away. Sandy went in strong, had to be careful, but it stays with Sydney FC. Here's Williams and Camijo. Williams had his head up, thought about that crossfield switch out to the other side with Brissett over on that far left wing. Wanderers have set their defence well here. You can see now they'll decide to press, but Sydney finding Quintal in the pockets of space. Tries to combine with Camijo, but Quintal's won it back here. Given away by Ryan Devine, but too many red and black shirts impeding his progress. Sandy didn't see Will Kennedy was coming in behind him, but Wanderers keep possession. There are challenges flying through in the opening 4 minutes here. It might not have all the high stakes and grandeur of the A-League Sydney derby, but there is no doubt that this contest certainly means something for both these two sides. Dimo tries to corral the ball under his possession, eventually does so, and it's Gigliotti who was checking out towards the back post. They're looking for those early balls into the area, the Western Sydney Wanderers. So far, Alex Zavadinos and the Sydney FC backline have been equal to the challenge. Branson went up for it. Camijo's pass just a little long for Fryer as it's cleared right in front of us. So Sydney FC will make their slow march up the pitch. It'll be Blake Bolwell to take this throw. Bolwell, who gets his 4th consecutive first grade start this afternoon, made his first grade debut 4 games ago now against St George back in round 18, so he's held on to his starting spot since making his debut. Now the pressure is coming. Quintal is leading the charge from Sydney FC. Roman Kalina gives it away to Fryer. Wins it back. His slide challenge cannons off Oscar Fryer. And so Wanderers will maintain possession. Hollingdale saw Camijo coming. Took that ball through midfield. There's Hollingdale sweeping that ball across the pitch. Eventually brought down by Jesse Cameron, and now the Wanderers can start to build something of their own. Hollingdale tried to touch it down for one of Dimo or Gigliotti, but now it's end-to-end stuff here as midfield to shut that out was Luke Neuenhoff. Really is a fast-paced game here at Wanderers Football Park. Both these sides young, that youthful exuberance, plenty of pace, plenty of attacking intention. Both really coming forward in the press, happy to try and win the ball high up the pitch. Should make for a very open and entertaining fixture. No real chances early, but I sense one will be coming soon enough. As Tyro Camijo spreads this out for Fryer, has Quintal moving centrally. Broken up by Hollingdale. It's now with Dallo Sandy. Sandy had his touch tested, had his legs taken out from under him, and no advantage accruing for the Western Sydney Wanderers, so they'll take the free kick instead. Here's Roman Kalina. 40-yard crossfield pass. That's asking a lot of Cameron, and that's good defending at the back by Will Kennedy just to get the slightest of touches onto his head and cushion that down nice and easily for Alex Zavadinos in goal. So keep an eye on that. These bombing fullbacks from Western Sydney, Jesse Cameron and Ryan Devine. The back three behind them of Anthony Barbich, Ricky Franson, as well as Roman Kalina. Should make for a nice contrast in styles, really. Back three up against the back four of Sydney FC. There's Franson. He's got plenty of height on him, the tall centre back. It'll be hard to beat him in the air. The Wanderers will let that kindly roll away for the goal kick. As mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is a fixture that Wanderers have had a lot of recent success in. The last couple of years, they beat Sydney FC back in round 6 of this year, 2-5 at a thriller at Illingdon Sports Centre. And only one of their scorers on that day is in the starting lineup, and that's Riley Hollingdale. Marcus Eunice, Zach Sapsford and Aidan Hammond not on the team list this afternoon. Sydney FC got a goal through Tiago Quintal, who's out there in the number 10 jersey. And in 2023, Wanderers did the sweep over them as well, winning 2-1 and 1-0. It's just the type of fixture that Wanderers would want to try and turn this bit of rut that they're in at the moment. 3 games in a row they've lost. Play at home in a derby against a team that they've had success against. The type of win that can really kickstart a bit of a finals run. Sydney FC promptly win it back. Kennedy and Brissett trying to make some progress down the wing. That's halted momentarily. Of course, this one is one of 3 Sunday 3 p.m. kickoffs coming your way on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Some good games elsewhere. We'll keep an eye on scores for you between Blacktown and Rockdale and Sydney United 58 and St George FC. Sydney FC might have a counter-attack brewing here. Oscar Fryer racing away down the wing. Loaded delivery centrally, looking for Matthias McAllister. Dealt with it the first time of asking by Franson, but Quintal able to win it back in a good area, and he's got skill and takes the shot. It was always rising from Tiago Quintal, but the first shot is fired by Sydney FC. And Wanderers, almost the masters of their own demise. They're giving it away at the back, not clearing it effectively. Worth noting that setting sun away to the right of your screen. Certainly in the eyes of Alex Zavadinos and the Sydney FC backline. Now the Wanderers will have the advantage. Sent down the line, but sent back again by Tyler Williams, and Matthias McAllister's not having all that much luck out there against this centre-back trio of the Western Sydney Wanderers. It's certainly tough asking for a lone striker, especially when you look at the height that Roman Colina, as well as Anthony Barbich and Ricky Franson. They're not short characters, are they? Western Sydney central defenders. It's Middleton. Plays out from the back. Sydney FC working the triangles. Here is Bolwell. Gets the other side of Ryan Devine. Now Fryer. Didn't like what he saw going forward, so they'll play safety and keep it around the back. Now that long ball goes forward, but it's far too close to Lucas Sinot. Franson exchanging passes with Luke Neuenhoff. Here's Roman Colina. Ryan Devine. Hollingdale gets the call of man on and dribbles his way out of trouble. That's really tidy work from the Wanderers skipper. Colina has his head up looking to slide that ball through for Dimo, but it's well read by Sydney FC, and Dimo's won it back here. Only momentarily though, as Williams sends that out over the sideline. The Wanderers, they good record playing at home this season. 4 losses and 7 wins from their 11 games here, so certainly have more success than otherwise. And as of late, it's not been quite as strong. They started the season Wanderers Football Park with just one loss from their first 6 games. Really filtered out since then. 3 losses and 2 wins in their last 5 home games. So started to slip a little bit as the Wanderers. They were out to a really hot start to start 2024. Still well and truly in the finals, of course, but chasing pack is right behind them. Jesse Cameron's touch took him over the sideline. It's really been a tale of 2 different teams with Sydney Derby, as you have Wanderers, who are in the upper reaches of the ladder, but not quite in good form at the moment. Compare that to Sydney FC, who are down towards the bottom, but 7 points in their last 3 is nothing to be sneezed at. Williams finding Fryer. Now Sydney FC can get moving, but it's well read by Luke and Neuenhoff. Him and Riley Hollingdale have done a good job breaking up some of these Sydney FC attacks. But for now, Sydney get through. Here's Brissett. Cutting into it, his right, looking for McAllister. Comes for Quintal, cutting it back for McAllister. And Sydney FC get their goal. And it's a well-worked move from left to right. And eventually it's tapped in by Matthias McAllister. It all started with a pass towards Fryer, who checked inside. They shifted it out towards Brissett. Sweeping cross towards the back post. It was Quintal who tapped it centrally for Matthias McAllister. And from there, he had only the keeper to beat. Make that 4 goals in his last 4 for Matthias McAllister. He's really been cooking up front since he was given the start. Starting his 4th game here this afternoon. Had a brace against St George in round 19. Had a goal against Hills a couple of weeks ago as well. That's the kind of move that the coaches will show on film during the week. That's fantastic team play by Sydney FC, and now the Wanderers find themselves down 1-0, and this is a type of result that Sydney FC would love. Win takes them 3 points clear of Sutherland. Put them in 14th place. They have a game extra, but the 3 points would be enough to make sure they stay at least level on points. We spoke about how hard it's been for Matthias McAllister in these early exchanges, and his first shot of the game puts it straight in the back of the net. Hollingdale. Now Wanderers, how will they respond? They haven't really tested Zavadinos yet. As Cameron touches a little heavy as he tried to combine with Gigliotti over on that right wing. They've had a decent amount of success in some of these moments, the Western Sydney Wanderers, when they play out from the wing. Haven't been able to count in any meaningful way so far. Sandy. Here's Hollingdale. Wanderers trying to quickly turn defence into attack. Cameron looking for Dimmo, who's found him, but too many sky blue shirts in the way. Sydney FC eventually work it out of trouble. Here's Kennedy. Franson steps forward and wins possession back, and have to be careful. It's not the area to be trying to dribble your way out of trouble. As Lucas Sinnott goes for distance on the clearance. Gigliotti was over the back of Middleton, but play on, says the referee. Hollingdale has spotted. He's on his own out there, is Devine. Twists and turns one way, fashions the cross. Up goes Cameron, puts his head on goal, and it's floating kindly for Zavadinos. Called into his first meaningful stop of the afternoon. That'll be catching practice for the Sydney FC keeper. looking to avoid 4 straight defeats in a row. A tough one to take at home to their crosstown rivals. Sydney FC right now looking very comfortable in possession. The Wanderers have tried to press. They've more often than not been able to play their way out of trouble, and that goal was a perfect example of that. Fryer. One back by Kalina and Hollingdale. Fryer steps in, and Wanderers will take the throw. Both these sides defensively do tend to concede a lot of goals. They're not known for being strong defensive sides in this competition. Both in the bottom 5 in terms of the amount of goals they concede. So that would suggest we're still looking for plenty more goals in this game. Wanderers are an exceptional attacking side. They rank first in the competition in terms of goals scored. For now, Sydney have kept them extremely quiet in the attacking third. Sinner sends it out. They make their way towards the wing. Cameron Gigliotti left it for Sandy. Again, it's that right wing the Western Sydney Wanderers turn to. Great challenge by Brissett, the winger, doing his defensive duties. Anthony Barbich. Riley Hollingdale. Neuenhoff. Sandy. Hollingdale again. And Dimmo. Again, too many blue shirts in front of him, but Wanderers still have possession. Dimmo's looked to turn and beat a couple of sky blue defenders. There's always been 2 or 3 in his way. Hollingdale. Wanderers need to try and break through the Sydney FC set defence, and they turn over possession, and Quintal's gotten around Barbich. Only has Matthias McAllister ahead of him, but they'll take the throw here. Spotted Sydney FC A-League coach Ufa Katale here. No doubt coming across to have a bit of a look at some of his academy prospects. A few of these players are on scholarship deals. One of them's on the ball now, Lockie Middleton. Taking a look at potential options for Sydney FC's A-League season. Of course, they have the Cup as well. No doubt some of these NPL players will get a chance in the Australia Cup. Both outfits, really. Mijo wins it back. It's been a really tight game in midfield. Not a lot of space out there, and so far I think it's Sydney FC who have done a really good job of shutting out some of these Wanderers attacks. That midfield trio of Middleton, Quintal and Camijo. See, they've got 11 behind the ball now, just shutting out these passing lanes as the Wanderers look to move side to side. Here's Hollingdale. Sandy and Gigliotti. Whenever they make one pass forward, there's not much more they can do, the Wanderers, right now. Such as this Sydney FC defence and their organisation. Hollingdale. Wanderers get a foul here, and this is a good opportunity from a set piece. It was Philip Gigliotti who was fouled on the edge of the area. getting his 6th first grade start here this afternoon, and this might present a flash of a chance here for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Hollingdale has taken ownership of this free kick. About 25 out from goal. Not quite central enough to think about a shot. Zavadinos will get his wall right in any case. There'll be numbers queuing towards the back stick for the Wanderers. Probably the best chance at an equaliser they'll have so far. It's been much all the other way. As Hollingdale whips it in, but it's far too high. It sails over the Sydney FC goal. NSW have done an exceptional job, as mentioned, shutting out some of these opportunities. It's Dimo on the edge of that one, but again, whenever Wanderers make the slightest of progresses in the midfield, it's immediately met by Sydney FC defenders. As Quintal has Fryer to his right and chips the ball forward for him. Fryer, who was instrumental in the first goal, looking to create another but can't get past Roman Kalina, and that's good stand-up defending there by the Wanderers' left centre-back. Dimo is fouled, and Sydney FC felt hard done by there, but there was plenty of contact in the challenge. Familiar sight for the Wanderers. Controlled possession on their halfway line. They've probably had the majority of the ball. Gigliotti looks to turn it into something substantial. Ball towards the back post. It was Devine who was arriving late. Perhaps expected Sandy or Dibbo to get there first. Then Oscar Fryer had tracked back deep into his own 18-yard area. Devine's there in the mix, brings it onto his chest. Eventually Sydney FC get it away. It's pinballing around the edge of the area, and Camijo finds Quintal, who again has Fryer ahead of him. This time he goes centrally instead and decides to switch it to the left side. Brosette. This is where Sydney FC got the first goal, was through Jacob Brosette, again cutting centrally. Instead they look for a bit more patient build-up. Kennedy putting it towards McAllister, gets his head on it. Still with Fryer, cries of handball, and eventually Wanderers hoof it out of the danger zone, but it's that left side and Jacob Brosette for Sydney FC that are really causing them problems. Now it's on the right with Quintal, overlapping is Bolwell. Sharp stop at the near post for Sinot. Sydney FC continue to really turn the screw on the counter-attack. They've had a lot of joy switching early to the wings and then looking for the cross towards the back post. Now the Wanderers, something meaningful for their own here. Dimo. No one really in the box. Savadinos again claims. Won the header, but it came off the back of Fryer. Quintal thought it was going to stay with Sydney FC. Stays with Devine. Counted himself a bit lucky there not to get pinged for the foul throw. In any case, it stays with the Wanderers. Just under 20 minutes of regulation time remaining, and it's still that goal for Matthias McAllister, his 4th first-grade goal of the season. He scored plenty in the 20s. As Matthias McAllister now has 17 goals in all competitions. That's a cheeky nutmeg from Tiago Quintal. Gets it around the other end, and Ryan Devine is going to get booked for his troubles. And for Tiago Quintal, that's certainly why he's one of the highest rated players in the Sydney FC Academy. So much skill there, just neatly tucked it between Divine's legs, and Divine didn't feel like letting him get away with it easily. And Tao, who's signed on a scholarship deal, Sydney FC, played for the Joeys as well, and now his man is on a yellow card for the best part of an hour. As Camijo sends that towards the box. All the way back to Kalisic. Him and Tyler Williams haven't had all that too many nervy moments at the back. Here's Williams now. Camijo finds Fryer between the lines as Fryer tucks in, brings it onto his right foot, tried the shot, deflected away by the Wanderers. Have to be careful here not to cough up possession in a deep position. Is that stopping the progress of Cameron? And here's Neuenhoff. Colwell got a touch to it, and Divine is battling with it, and Divine's fouled Bolwell here. Now Ryan Divine, who's already been pinged for a yellow card a couple of minutes ago, certainly wasn't a foul deserving of a yellow, but it's a foul after the yellow card, and has to be careful he doesn't pick up the second yellow even for accumulation of fouls. Roman Kalina puts it centrally for Luke Neuenhoff, who has found Gigliotti, turns the corner well, does Gigliotti, and again there's just the numbers of the Sydney FC defence that are prevailing right now. Was able to beat one but couldn't beat the second. Kalisic launches the ball forward, intended for McAllister. That runs kindly from a Wanderers perspective. Hollingdale and Gigliotti. Now it's with Roman Kalina. Dimo had checked short and then made his run. Might have the pace to keep this in and forces Williams to make a play at the ball. Now Sydney FC will have to work it out of their own corner. It's given away here. Sandy, top of the box for Neuenhoff, who lines up the shot, and that's well wide of the goal. Signs of positivity there for the Western Sydney Wanderers. As we'll take this moment to update you on the scores around the grounds. It's Rockdale who lead 1-0 over Blacktown City in the match of the round. And no surprise, it's Alek Udashevsky did the damage from the penalty spot after 3 minutes. Elsewhere between Sydney United and St George FC, that one's at 0-0. And it was McAllister's goal for Sydney FC that gave them the lead. And that one coming after 15 minutes, and since then it's the Wanderers who have been looking for any way to get a meaningful shot on target. They haven't been able to do so. Kalina to slide back, and that might put his keeper under a bit of pressure there. It was McAllister who was hunting for what would be his 5th goal in first grade. As mentioned, he's made a real impact. And for a Sydney FC side that have found it difficult at times this season to score, the injection of Matthias McAllister up top has really been the driving force behind their run the last 3 games. As mentioned, this result, if it were to hold, would make it 4 games unbeaten, stretching it to 10 points in their last 4, which is exceptional for Sydney FC in their quest to get out of the bottom 2. If you're unfamiliar with how promotion and relegation in this competition works, it's a side that sit bottom that are automatically relegated. Right now that's the Central Coast Mariners. And the side that's second bottom and 15th, which is, as the ladder stands now, Sutherland Sharks. They play in a 2-game playoff with the team that finishes second in the League One men's competition, which is currently the Bulls FC Academy, as I'm reliably informed. So that game last season, the relegation playoff, that was Mount Druitt and St. George FC. St. George FC won over 2 legs. Bulls Academy will be keen to get back into the NPL after they were relegated after finishing bottom last season. For now, though, Sydney FC look to attack. It's a delightful ball by Bolwell. It's with Quintal, who gets to the edge of the area but just lost balance at the vital moment. Did well to beat his defender, but couldn't stay on his feet to try and fashion the cross. As Fryer sends his man for a hot dog and gets the shot on goal. And Oscar Fryer, him and Quintal are looking extremely dangerous right now on this right side of the attack. With Ryan Devine on an early yellow card, they'll look to continue attacking him. And Sydney FC look to get a nice second goal, make it a 2-goal buffer heading into the break, which will certainly please Jim Van Weeren, who has plenty of reasons to smile about the way his side are playing right now. Certainly deserved leaders, must be said. Quintal will look to do further damage from the corner. In it goes towards the keeper, and that's easily claimed by Sinnott. He looks to get things going quickly with Hollingdale. And Dimo is a lone man, only has himself and the ball. There's Gigliotti for the cross, and it's broken up by Middleton. In goes Neuenhoff. Wanderers bring it down. In search of this vital equaliser. Sandy had it taken away from him, but it falls kindly for Devine. Neuenhoff with a wayward shot just a moment ago. This time he goes for Hollingdale, who again strikes over. And these are the type of shots that the Sydney FC defence will certainly live with. Shots from range that are over the crossbar, and ones that Alex Zavadinos will easily take for the goal kick. This right side of the attack for Sydney FC has been a delight to watch from our commentary position right in front of them. Oscar Fryer and Tiago Quintal, they're certainly very tricky customers on the ball. As here's Fryer, this time turning provider. It stays in for Bolwell. He's bombed forward, the right back. Looks to get to the byline, and they will take the corner. Second one of the game for Sydney FC. We saw Quintal just a moment ago put it a bit too close to Sinnott. See what they go with here from set piece variation. This time Matthias McAllister's looked to get closer to the keeper. In a similar position, Fryer goes up for it. No one on the second bounce. All numbers in the box for the Wanderers, and Dimo unable to beat Tyler Williams. Here is Williams. Now with Bolwell. Camijo. Kalisic. Williams sprays it forward for Quintal, who has Fryer ahead of him, and again it's a familiar combination for Sydney FC. Fryer gets to the byline, looking for McAllister. It's here for Brissett. Great save by Sinnott. It took a deflection on its way through, and Sydney FC were very close there to their second goal of the game. Again, it's this right side of Fryer and Quintal, which continues to prove difficult for the Wanderers to deal with. That time it was the cutback. McAllister was inches away from tapping it home himself, and it came out nicely there for Brissett, who took a touch, set himself, had the shot on goal, took a deflection from Barbic. And Fryer again attacking his man, puts his shot on goal, and just over the crossbar for Oscar Fryer, but right now it's all one-way traffic for Sydney FC in the attacking third. This left side of the Wanderers defence looking particularly vulnerable. CFC looking to really finish this half with a flourish. 2-0 would be sending them all smiles into the sheds with Jimmy Van Wieren. Here's Devine. Trying to send that ball sweeping across the back line. They'll have to settle for the throw. Got 2 balls on the pitch here. For now, the home play continues. It's with Barbich and the Western Sydney Wanderers. Barbich again. Gigliotti left it for Sandy. Again, it's broken up that time by Will Kennedy. Zavadinos goes to the distance, and this might call Matthias McAllister into action here. As the bouncing ball is sent back towards Sinnott, whose pass only finds Tiago Quintao, and now Sydney FC are in a good position here with Quintao, whose shot takes a deflection, and Sydney FC will get their 3rd corner of the afternoon. First one on the far side for Quintao. Saw them a bit more of a testing delivery. Use that left foot and go short instead. Kennedy gives it back to Quintao. Along the byline he goes, floats a back stick for Fryer. Couldn't get his head over it, but puts it back in for McAllister. And it's in again for Sydney FC. Fryer tried to get his head over it. It sat well for him. He cut it back across the byline. And then McAllister with the acrobatic finish to get his 2nd of the afternoon. And they can't say it wasn't coming. The pressure finally pays off for Sydney FC. Quintao got to the byline. And then it was Fryer who controlled it, put it back across goal. And a lovely finish by Matthias McAllister. Make that 5 goals in his last 4 first-grade games. His injection up top for Jim Van Wieren has proven to be the catalyst for a nice run of form here for Sydney FC. And the Sky Blues are right now having their way with the Western Sydney Wanderers defence. Wanderers so far don't really have much of an answer for it. Looking back at the replay on the screen here, it was a lovely finish by Matthias McAllister. Might get his hat-trick here as Brissett races away down the wing, cutting it across goal, and awaiting there was McAllister and Fryer. Wanderers have to be careful here. They don't find themselves down 3-0 before the half-time whistle goes. Sydney FC have so much dominance right now. McAllister, who's only really had 2 shots at goal, and has 2 goals to his name this afternoon. He's been clinical when given the opportunity. Searching for something to shift the tides of momentum heading into this game. And with the way things are going right now, they might well be grateful that half-time whistle goes. The shot comes in, and it wasn't far away from Anthony Barbich. Zavadinos was flying away to his left. Good power and good height on it too from the centre-back, just taking matters into his own hands. Hollingdale puts it centrally. Dimo can't beat Middleton to it. Good touches there by Camijo. Quintao sends it through the legs of Sandy, and cannons off the back of Camijo. Sydney FC were looking to build the counter. Here's Barbich, who from that shot just a moment ago, a rare shot for the Wanderers really that has troubled Zavadinos. The others, he wasn't really forced into making a diving save attempt at it. That one he was a bit more interested in though. Here is Brissett. keep it in. Just a couple of minutes remaining. First half, and it's deserved 2-0 lead for Sydney FC. Brace here for Matthias McAllister, who had a brace a couple of weeks ago. Scored 2 in his first grade debut against St George, which got Sydney FC the 2-1 win. And since then, he's really shown his quality. He's divine now with Sandy. The flag is immediately up, and that one comes to an end for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and it's really been the summary of a very frustrating first half in attack for the hosts this afternoon. Polino wins the header. Up goes Sandy, but the sky blue midfielder's in the way. Kalisic uses Will Kennedy, who has the space to drive into. And using Brissett out wide, trying to take it around his man Cameron. Brissett still with the ball, and wanted the foul. Felt that he was shoved, but despite him going down, there wasn't enough contact for the referee's liking. So there'll be 1 minute of time added on. McAllister, this time trying to turn provider. Links up with Quintal. McAllister again! Oh. And he wasn't far away from his hat-trick, Matthias McAllister. Linking up nicely with Quintal, a cheeky little 1-2 between the Sydney FC attacking midfielder and the number 9. And after doing his damage from inside the 6-yard box, Matthias McAllister, this one he let fly from range. And wasn't far from making it 3-0 heading into the break for Sydney FC. Wanderers fancy this will be their last chance at an attack. They almost give it away here, and eventually they do. Here's Camijo using Quintal. McAllister tried to time his run. It's broken up by the Wanderers as Jimmo goes down and wins the foul. As Camijo was a bit too eager in the challenge. Now that Sun has gone down away to our right on the western side, so that won't really be a factor for the Wanderers' defence in the second half. Here's Sandy. Beats the first defender. Tries to make it work on the edge of the area. Still with the Wanderers and Dimmo. Half goes down, and that's the end of a good first half from a Sydney FC perspective. A brace for Matthias McAllister has them in front, and they've looked good going forward as well. And for the Wanderers, certainly a half-time break that will be needed from their perspective as they look for a way back into this contest. It's been Will Constantinidis with you for the first half. We'll see you back soon for the second 45. Welcome back to the second half of football here in the NPL Sydney derby between the Western Sydney Wanderers and Sydney FC. It's the visitors, the Sky Blues, who currently lead 2-0, courtesy of a Matthias McAllister brace. The Wanderers certainly have a bit of work to do in the second half. As we'll keep an eye on any changes. It looks like Anthony Barbic is the man that has come off for the Western Sydney Wanderers in place of Marcus Fernandez. So that's a very attacking-minded change there by Andrew Christensen, taking off centre-back for a winger. And that move has shifted the Wanderers to a back four. Started with a back three or a back five, whichever way you look at it. Here is Kalisic, brings it under his control. Has found Middleton well. As Quintal tried to use Brissett. Sydney FC off to a fast start again as Quintal turns the corner well. Decides to go back down the left side. Uses the tricks to get out of trouble. Checking the scores around the grounds at half time. It's still Rockdale Illingdon who lead over Blacktown City by 2-0. Meanwhile, between Sydney United 58 and St George City, that one is still at 0-0. Gubashevsky's goal was added to by a very own goal by Grant Lynch. It looks like there by Blacktown City. He's so consistent at the back. Is Grant Lynch, the futsal Roo. For now, though, we stay here at the Sydney Derby. NPL Sydney Derby. It's McAllister who's done the damage so far. He wasn't far away from getting a hat-trick as well. He's been inches away at times from sliding through on goal. His second finish was really something to behold. Deflection on its way through. Reaching back behind him. It might not fully count as a bicycle kick, but it was an acrobatic reach to get the ball behind him nonetheless. Advantage coming for Sydney FC. And they'll be mindful that the Wanderers are on 2 yellow cards. One for Luke Neuenhoff late in the first half, and one as well for the Ryan Devine, who's over at left back. Also, something to factor into the equation is that blaring sun from the right side of your screen, which Wanderers are now running into. And it's gotten lower, and that will no doubt cause some troubles for Lucas Sinnott in goal. So you'll be looking into it now on your screen. There's Williams and Middleton. Camijo had to reach for the ball, and that means Sydney FC give it away. Sandy. It's a few occasions now for, Dimo, who's had a couple of occasions now in this game where he's been able to beat the first defender, but there's just too many sky blue shirts in his way. And it's the strength in numbers of the Sydney FC defence that's held the Wanderers to 0, held the most successful attacking side in the competition to 0, that is. Wanderers with their 55 goals coming into this round, had them top of the ladder. That might change after this round if they're held to 0. Here is Franson. Switch of play intended for Dimo. It might sit kindly for him still. Instead it's eventually dealt with by Tyler Williams in the Sydney FC defence. They weren't given too much to deal with really in the first half. Zavadinos wasn't forced into too many meaningful saves that I can remember. The only one really of interest was that long shot from Anthony Barbic. That one wasn't really on target either. It was still wide of the goal. And Zavadinos interested enough to think about making the save. Other than that, Wanderers were restricted to long shots from midfield from the likes of Hollingdale and Neuenhoff. Both of those went over the crossbar. Here is Franson. Gigliotti just fell on the ball asking for the free kick, and instead he gives it away. Handball there. sun is almost blinding for us here. And we stand here at Wanderers Football Park. I doubt it'll be just as difficult for the Western Sydney back four. So some of these long crosses might prove to be dangerous. Kennedy, the captain. Now working around the back line with Kalisic and now Williams. Milton had to be careful, yeah, he was chopped down there by Hollingdale. Brissett uses Middleton and they can now work it from left to right with Williams. Decided against the long ball and comes back the same side it came from. Fryer, who was so dangerous in that first half. Him and Quintal were the big chance creators for Sydney FC, the ones that got them to this 2-0 lead, which Callister did the damage for. Strike was in the right position to make the Wanderers pay. Will Kennedy. Keeps the attack moving for Sydney. Gets around Sandy, puts it towards the box. It falls out here for Brissett. Half-hearted shouts of a penalty are waved away by the official. Comes back in from Williams. Middleton went up for it, but wasn't really any danger. Working along the back line. Apologies if there's been a bit of trouble with the pictures on the stream. We'll try and get it back working again. Thankfully, it's only been intermittent and we still bring the action to you live. If you're tuning in on your Sunday afternoon, it's been a great NPL Sydney derby, especially if you're a Sydney FC fan. As mentioned earlier in the first half, Sydney FC lead coach Ufok Tale is here in attendance. He'll be very pleased with what some of his scholarship players are putting on a show for him today as the Wanderers look to get going. It's an acrobatic header by Marcus Fernandez, a substitute who's been relatively quiet since coming on, but that'll fill Wanderers with a bit of confidence that they can find avenues to goal. It was a good cross in by Gigliotti. Was asking a lot of trying to get his head over the ball, but difficult challenge to mount as they go to the bench in search of doing so. And so it'll be Sandy coming off. Confirmation of has come on in just a moment. It looks like it is number 66, Banza. So he comes on in search of trying to get things going once more for the Wanderers as Cameron cutting it back. Dimo was in the mix for the ball, but couldn't get to it. That attack comes to an end for the Wanderers, but they've looked relatively dangerous on occasion in this second half. Just haven't been able to make it stick and haven't really been able to test Zavadinos meaningfully. We saw that just a moment ago with Fernandez's header, but Sydney FC, who are deserved 2-0 leaders, it must be said. Wanderers look to work it out from the back. This is a familiar position they found themselves in the first half, but such is this Sydney FC defence. They're extremely well set, able to block a lot of these passing lanes. Ricky Franson trying to use Dimo up top, and Kennedy has to dig it out from the corner. Has to be careful here. As Wanderers are pressing, there is Bunza as well as Gigliotti. Stays with the Wanderers again. It's with Hollingdale. Cameron went in strong. Wanderers still have possession. Cameron again. Now Bunza might be able to get to the byline here. Cut it back. Wanted the corner, but Sydney FC will get the goal kick. And Joseph Bunza, since coming on in that number 66 jersey, has looked to make an immediate impact. Just having those fresh legs up top. Something different for Sydney FC to think about. Referee just signalling to Zavadinos and Tyler Williams that if there are any dark arts being deployed in terms of wasting time or anything like that, that time will be added on. Still more than enough time for the Wanderers to score a couple of goals here as we tick towards the hour mark. Here is Dimo. Neuenhoff. One of the cross. It might still be here for Gigliotti and the Wanderers. Cameron. Now Hollingdale. We'll move it around the back with Franson. Kalina. Devine. Neuenhoff. Wanderers trying to shift this Sydney FC defence in hopes that a hole appears. Hasn't appeared just yet. Gigliotti. Kennedy went in strong and one possession back. Brissett just sends it forward, and chance for Sydney FC to step up their back line, but another wave of Wanderers attack is coming. Hollingdale. Crossfield pass, and Zavadinos is there, and that's good keeping there by Alex Zavadinos. Took the risk in coming out, but met the ball with two hands and puts an end to the Wanderers attack. Hollingdale. Franson. Now a bit of space on the wing for Gigliotti. As Camijo takes down Hollingdale. Former Western Sydney Wanderer, Wataru Camijo, for signing with a scholarship deal midway through last season for Sydney FC. It's fairly common to see players switch between the academies. It includes the Mariners as well as Bulls as well. Kalisic is chopped down rather carelessly there by Dimo. And Joseph Banza forming a two up top now for the Western Sydney Wanderers, so it's 4-2-4 or 4-4-2, whichever way you look at it. They've really gone for it now, the Wanderers. Half an hour or so remaining in this contest. Quintal. Almost working it to great effect there as Bolwell had made the inverted run from right back. Sydney FC, whilst they're happy to sit back and defend this 2-0 lead, there's still a big threat on the counter-attack, it must be said. I think a third goal would be insurmountable for the Western Sydney Wanderers, given how this game has gone. Franson. Gigliotti has time to turn and pick his pass forward. Looks for Cameron, but it's again too close to Zavadinos, and Sydney FC will happily take these balls that are relatively easily into their own area. Not too much to deal with right now for Kalisic and Williams at the heart of the defence. Great touch by Gigliotti. Goes to the ground, and unlike in the first half where he went down clutching the ball and was pinged for the handball, this time he gets it going his way. Hollingdale, chance from the set piece for the Wanderers. Goal here would be golden for them. Avoids everyone. Marcus Fernandez has had to run to the corner to track it down. It comes in again. There's Dimo. Back out for Cameron, who took it first time. Made good connection on it, but it was blocked away by Sydney FC. And now they might have a counter-attack of their own. Quintal got away from Franson, but this side will keep it with the throw. The Wanderers are inching closer and closer to getting that all-important first goal. They've had a couple of flashes in the second half. And looks like Sydney FC are preparing a double change. Jim Van Weeren going to the bench for the first time in this game. Wanderers have already brought on Fernandez and Banza. Interesting to see what the intent is from the bench. Quintal looking to slide through Fryer, who was close to getting there but was offside in any case. And it's Quintal and Fryer. We've spoken about them all game. The work they've been doing has been exceptional on that right side. And now that change comes for Sydney FC. Looks like it will be Taru Kamijo coming off, as well as Jacob Brissett. So those two make way in place of number 32, Samuel Lancaster, and number 16 is Pearson Kasawaya. Pearson Kasawaya, who's been involved in the first grade squad as of late for Sydney FC. He got his first start against Olympic a few weeks ago, and since then he's had a couple of starts, a couple of appearances off the bench as well. Wanderers and Sydney FC, as the two academy sides, use probably the most players out of any of the teams in the NPL, really stretching the full resources of their academy and some of the young fringe A-League players as well. It's worth noting that Wanderers today are without Dylan Shikluna and Marcus Eunice. Both of them have been instrumental in where they've gotten to so far this season. Here's Hollingdale. Dropping well deep to receive this ball. Now Luke Neuenhoff. Banzai picked it up on the edge of the area, but promptly had it stolen from him. And now Pearson Kasawaya can get going and is chopped down rather agriculturally there by Ricky Franson, who, despite his best appeals, can have no real complaint about going into the books there. That was a late challenge there by the Wanderers centre back. As he joins Luke Neuenhoff and Ryan Devine in the book, third Wanderers player. So we'll see the yellow card this afternoon. As the shadows continue to draw longer here at Wanderers Football Park. It's still that first half brace from Matthias McAllister that has the visitors in front. Oh, Oscar Fryer, lovely skill on the far side, just ran out of room. Check of the shoulder, but Middleton had pinched his pocket. McAllister has drifted wide. Used Fryer. They almost combined to great effect there, McAllister and Fryer. And again, they appeal for the throw, but it goes the other way. Still showing plenty of attacking intent, despite having this 2-0 lead, Sydney FC. This would be, if it holds, their first away win of the season. In their 10 away games, they've managed 2 draws and 8 losses. Quintal does the damage. He's been the provider all night long, and this time he gets the goal to go with it. And you think that third now for Sydney FC might just be the Derby one. They were streaming forward. He had options to pass Thiago Quintal, but he's made plenty of passes this afternoon. He's been deserving of the goal. As we take a look on the replay, they just turned it over in a bad area there, the Western Sydney Wanderers. And from there, Oscar Fryer with some quick touches. And then, apologies for the stream cutting out there. It was Quintal who took it past the keeper and buried the one-on-one. And that is a very unfortunate time for the stream to cut out. We apologise there, but to describe it in full, it was Fryer's touches who unleashed Quintal. Quintal beat his defender, only had the keeper to beat, and then the man that he is in the form that he is in was able to apply the finishing touches. So Western Sydney now find themselves 3-0 down on their home deck, and Sydney FC looking pretty good for this derby win, it must be said. They've deserved this 3-0 lead so far, and Quintal now has his 7th goal of 2024. And as mentioned, this would be Sydney FC's first away win of the season, coming in their 11th away game. It's taken them some time, but with the turn of form they've had, it's maybe not surprising that it's come in the derby. As for the Wanderers, they'll stay in the top 6 for at least this round, but 4 losses on the trot doesn't make for happy reading if you're a Wanderers fan. And it looks like the sun has finally disappeared behind some trees as Neuenhoff.
Good to see you,
Hollingdale. Hollingdale again with Cameron. As mentioned, Wanderers have won each of the last 3 Sydney derbies. This will be their first loss since at least 2022, in the derby that is. Long ball forward intended for Fernandez, just over his head. last 6 home games, if this result were to hold for Wanderers, it would need 4 losses and 2 wins. And as Bunza reaching for it, maybe didn't expect it to go his way. As a triple sub now is coming for the Wanderers. Andrew Christensen rolling the dice now in hopes of cutting into this lead. A miracle comeback if they were to do it, but stranger things have happened, as it looks like it's Hollingdale, Neuenhoff and Dimo coming off in place of Julian Kopp. Looks like it is also Khan Nizam who's come onto the pitch, as has Rashon Tafunai. And so Tafunai, who got a goal a couple of weeks ago against the Central Coast Mariners in that 2-1, in that, sorry, 3-5 loss to the Mariners, that one was. Certainly a tough ask asking this young Wanderers side to come back from this position, but it's the hole they've dug for themselves here. Great ball forward. McAllister wasn't far away. Lovely bit of skill by Quintal, and there was they've been confirmation of the subs. Bailey Callahan is on, as is Ayuk Mo.
Hey! Hey! Fucking Ricky, go right, man!
And there is one, but that's far too close for Zavadinos, and Sydney FC will be happy to just let this game sit out as it has. 3-0 with just over 15 minutes remaining is next to impossible for the Wanderers to come from behind from, considering the scarcity of attacking chances they've had in this game. It's been a real shutout effort by Sydney FC, a side that don't really get too many clean sheets, it must be said. And to get one away from home in the derby would be exceptional if it were to hold. Gigliotti. Joseph Bunza. And Gigliotti. Good ball forward, it's headed down and still here with the Wanderers. The substitutes couldn't combine there. It was a great cross by Gigliotti. It was Tafunai who tried to toe poke it home from close range. Cameron. Gigliotti gives it back to Cameron. This is coming from Sydney FC. They've been relentless in applying pressure, as Mo forces them to go back to the keeper by stepping up on Roman Kalina. Wanderers are happy to play out despite being 3-0 down. They'll stick to their principles. I might take a quick look at what's up next for these two sides. For the Wanderers, they have the Wolves right here next week. That's going to be a good game. The Wolves got 2-0 win over Hills away yesterday. Enough in that challenge for the foul, says the referee from Cameron, and then it comes. I was rather waiting for the advantage instead. as for Sydney FC, they play Marconi at home. Marconi's form has really thrown up a mixed bag as of late. They lost to Apia in the Australia Cup, and then they beat them a week or so later, rather convincingly. And they beat Rockdale Illingdon 9-0 at home, a famous result that was. Top of the table, Illingdon going down 9-0. That was in a midweek game. And then they drew to Sutherland yesterday in a game that they almost lost. It's the same Sutherland side that are competing with Sydney FC to avoid the drop. And so Marconi, who might have been given a bit of a wake-up call by Sutherland, will be a tough task for Sydney FC at home next week. And beyond that, Sydney play St George City away, then Blacktown, and then Sutherland in 3 weeks' time, which would be a massive game in the race to avoid 15th. That would be with just a few games remaining in the season at that point. And then they play Wolves at home. Gigliotti was searching for a foul that wasn't there. We'll go back here as there is Lancaster, the substitute. Callahan. Gigliotti looked to shift that ball down the line towards Marcus Fernandez, but that rolls away for a goal kick, and he'll be the last outfield sub, and it's coming for Sydney FC. And so Tiago Quintal gets a nice 15-minute early mark, a deserved one as well. He gets a goal and I believe an assist on that first one for McAllister. So a goal and assist for Sydney FC's number 10, and gets a nice round of applause from the bench as he makes way. And the last man off the bench is number 6, Dylan Rose. As we take a look at what Wanderers have coming up for them, they have, of course, Wolves at home. Then it's St George FC away, Manly at home, St George City away, and Blacktown City away. So a couple games there against other teams that are in the mix for the finals that will be crucial down the stretch. They'll want to avoid getting knocked out of the top 6, the Wanderers. That could be a real danger with this result. Of course, they'll still be in the finals even after today's result. They're 4 points clear of 7th. Reminder that earlier in the season the Wanderers were as high as top of the table. And so to potentially slip out of the 6 would be a real disappointment. There's 4 losses in a row now. It's certainly worrying times here in Western Sydney. This was the kind of result that they would have wanted to win at home in the derby. A real confidence booster potentially. And Sydney FC have come and really spoiled the party. Been utterly dominated today, have the Wanderers. Lena has to be careful playing with it there. Mo gives it to Casawaya. And a foul, I think, on Ayuk Mo, who was, his eyes lit up there at the chance of going forward off the bench. Almost got it through for Casawaya. So we might take this final moment to give you an update on the scores around the grounds. Still Rockdale who lead 2-0 over Blacktown. Meanwhile, Sydney United at St George going down to the wire as Mo racing away, looking for Sydney's 4th. Great save by Sino, and another good save by Sino again. Fantastic double save to keep it at just 3 for the Wanderers. As Ayuk Mo off the bench. It was extremely close and can count himself rather unfortunate had it not been by the exceptional goalkeeping of Lucas Sinot. Former Apia and Hills United shot stopper. Playing first grade this season with the Wanderers, was with their 20s of those two teams last season. He's had a tough afternoon, as have the Wanderers' defence. And that'll give him a bit of confidence as Mo puts it centrally, flicked around the corner by Middleton. It's pinballing around in the box. Sydney FC wanted a handball, and referee promptly waves that one away. Kalisic, tidy work at the back. Fernandez. Roman Kalina had his eyes up, thought about the long ball, decided against it.
Ricky, higher! Early, Ricky.
Gigliotti using Cameron, and they exchange passes to two, but he left it behind. So Lancaster puts it into the attack. There's Ryan Devine. He's done well, considering he's been on a yellow card for the last 45 plus minutes. As Mo uses Casawaya. Sydney FC in search of that fourth. Casawaya, lovely ball along the back line. Great save again by Sinnott. He's kept out Bailey Callahan somehow there. And then a crunching challenge by either one of Middleton or Casawaya. And that's a fantastic save by Lucas Sinnott. That's three now in quick succession. As take a quick back look at it on the stream. It was Casawaya who was streaming away on the left. Delightful pass. That's as good as it gets, really. Curling away with his left foot, and it was Callahan trying to tap it home from the back post. And the Wanderers looking to use that as inspiration, trying to get something going on the other end. It's Gigliotti. Great challenge by Will Kennedy. That's no-nonsense stuff by the Sydney FC skipper. Ricky Franson. Kalina. Franson again. Decides to go himself inside. Pass was a bit loose though. Kalina is being chased by Mo, and it's a dangerous pass to be playing out from the back. Nevertheless, Wanderers still have it. It's with Devine, who's moved it out to Tafunai. Looking for the return pass inside, and it comes to an end for the Wanderers. Zavadinos uses Middleton. That's a great flick on, and Sydney might be able to get something going there. The pass was a little undercooked by Callahan, intended for Mo. Good challenge by Tafunai, getting stuck in the substitute. Move it along the back line. It's with Kalisic. Sending it forward for Casawaya. It's sent back from whence it came by Ricky Franson. Lancaster. It's a good enough challenge to force his player over the line without fouling him. And so Sydney FC will take the throw just along halfway. And they'll be in no hurry to get things going once again. It's with Will Kennedy. They shift things between the centre backs. Here's Tyler Williams, combining with Middleton as Williams makes a bit of a foray forward and is fouled. Bolwell goes all the way back to Zavadinos. Rose did well and is out with Mo. Sydney FC there still in that hunt for the fourth goal. Fresh legs of the substitutes looking to make an impression on Jimmy Van Wieren. Tafunai gave it away. Actually, it's one back. It's with him again. Divine sends it essentially. That's a delightful ball to unlock the midfield. Bunza turned left and right and was fouled in the process in the Sydney FC. In reaction there, he felt a bit hard done by. Unless it was a good foul. Stopped the Wanderers from switching out to the other side. Cop. Lovely switch of play to Tafunai. Numbers slowly arriving in the box for the Wanderers. Anything now would be consolation goal, really. Sydney FC looking to hold on to a rare clean sheet. We've got a straight 3-on-3 here. It's with Rose, who was trying to switch it out for Callahan. And the Wanderers break up that attack. Gigliotti with Joseph Banza. Khan Nizam. Touch was heavy and he lost it. Ayuk Mo is on a journey through midfield and finds Pearson Kasawaya out the other side. Kasawaya is in no hurry. They'll take the controlled possession. Just a few minutes remaining of regulation time, you'd think, because of all the substitutions. We'll have a decent amount of stoppage time. By the Wanderers and bowed out by the foul there. It was Ayuk Mo who was running down the other end, trying to beat Lucas Sinot. A couple of shots saved earlier. This game has really slowed down a lot since the third goal from Tiago Quintal. Sydney FC known that this game is basically won from this position. Third goal was the real nail in the coffin. Zavadinos happy to let a few more precious seconds run out. He'll be happy with how his defence has guarded him, Alex Zavadinos. He had to make really one or two saves in this game that I can remember. Wanderers haven't forced him into anything spectacular. It's Marcus Fernandez header in the second half that called him into action. Other than that, wasn't too much in the first half. Back four, which started as Bolwell on the right, Williams and Kalisic in the middle, and then Kennedy on the left. They've started as they finished, that back four. And they look good value for this clean sheet right now. Will continue their slow march up the pitch with a throw as we continue to tick down towards stoppage time. The game has really slowed down a lot from the frantic pace we saw in the first half. It was a game played with a lot of passion, a lot of intensity. Since Sydney have put this game out of reach, it's grinded to basically a halt. This can be expected, really. Franson intends to switch the play and does so. To Tafunai, who has the overlapping Ryan Devine. First time ball into the area, was looking for Joseph Banza, who went up for it but couldn't make meaningful contact with it. And it rolls nice and easily for Zavadinos. Kalisic might have come down worse for wear there. There was him and Banza, who went up for that header. They contested it strongly, two of them. Looks like there's going to be another 3 minutes of time added on. No doubt for all those substitutions that we had, both teams making full use of their 5 substitutes in 3 windows. Now it's important to remember that because Sydney have used all their outfield subs, the only man on the bench, I believe, is Mason Hartnick, who is the backup keeper. And so if Kalsic would be unable to continue, they'd either have to throw their keeper in goal or just see out the last 2.5 minutes-ish of additional time, just down to 10. Although with the game as it is now, 3-0 lead with 2 minutes and a bit of extra time. Don't think it's particularly nervy moments for Sydney FC just yet. In any case, though, Kalisic looks like he'll be all right and he's going to jog back on soon enough after receiving a bit of strapping. Here is Will Kennedy, along with the Sydney FC back four, have had a rock-solid game, all 4 of them. Kennedy again. Goes across to Williams. Quick touches by Rose, and that's good work by the substitute. As Middleton shifts it wide for Mo, who's come close on a couple of occasions. Ayuk Mo, since coming off the bench. This time he gets to the byline, sends his man left and right, puts it towards the back post, but it's a bit long for Casawaya to get to. And now Gigliotti can take it around him. Again, runs into traffic and is fouled. I think that's for the first foul from Casawaya rather than the second challenge from Rose. A minute or so of time remaining. Might get a bit of extra time after Kalisic went down after the 90-minute mark. It's Kalina. Plays it out from the back. Lovely pass by Fernandez. Here's Cameron. Ball along the ground is cleared by Sydney and put back in by Fernandez. It took a couple of deflections, but a bit of a glimpse of positivity there for Wanderers in the final stages of this game as Callahan gets all the way back to do his defensive work. And Kennedy use the full corner there to dig it out. It's Franson, a half shot, half pass, I think. Didn't come to much, but it's still with the Wanderers. Gigliotti had it taken from him, and now Casawaya is being dragged back by Cameron, and he'll go into the book, Cameron, for disrupting that counter-attack, and becomes the 4th Western Sydney Wanderer to receive a card. And with that, it's full time here at Wanderers Football Park. Sydney FC take out a dominant 3-0 derby win, a result they certainly deserved. A brace from Matthias McAllister and then one from Tiago Quintal in the second half did the damage. It was a thoroughly professional performance by the youngsters as they take out the derby win and the final Sydney derby in the NPL for 2024. Wanderers didn't threaten too much on the attacking end as Sydney FC were great in defence and great in attack for a deserved 3 points, which now sees them climb out of 15th and into 14th ahead of Sutherland by 3 points, who have a game in hand below them. It's been Will Constantinides with you from Wanderers Football Park. A big result for Sydney FC in the derby and what it means in the race to avoid relegation. We'll see you back soon next weekend for more on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel.